The twins screamed in stereo. Not one nanny in 3 months had lasted longer than 2 weeks. Some left in tears, others simply quit over text. The penthouse walls, soundproof as they were, couldn't contain the chaos of 2 toddlers who cried every evening as though the world was ending. But tonight was different. Because tonight, a man in faded jeans, combat boots, and a quiet presence walked into the CEO's grand living room carrying nothing but a diaper bag, a guitar, and a story no copyright copyright could capture. His name was Ethan Cole. A single dad. A veteran. And in his arms, he held patience the world had nearly taken from him. The CEO and her struggle. Charlotte Hayes, one of the youngest and most admired CEOs in New York, sat on the edge of her cream leather sofa, head buried in her hands. Her company had just crossed $1 billion valuation, yet at home, she was losing a battle every night. Her husband had walked out 2 years ago, leaving her with a company to run and newborn twins who seemed determined to reject every ounce of care she tried to arrange for them. She didn't cry at boardrooms. She didn't crack under Wall Street pressure. But the cries of her twins Ava and Liam sliced through her like glass. The nannies came with impressive degrees, glowing references, and professional smiles. But the moment the babies cried, the smiles cracked. None of them knew what to do. None stayed. Tonight, she was considering something she never imagined, stepping back from the empire she built. Not because of shareholders. Not because of rivals. But because 2 little humans needed something she didn't know how to give. And then came the knock on the door. The veteran with a guitar. Ethan Cole was nothing like the polished nannies Charlotte had interviewed. His copyright was thin 10 years in the Marines. Honorably discharged. Single father of 1 daughter, age 8. No mention of child psychology degrees, no early childhood certifications. Just 1 line under skills, patience. And I can cook. When he stepped inside, his presence was steady, grounded, almost calming. Charlotte eyed the guitar slung over his shoulder. "You a broken bar play music to babies?" she asked, skeptical. Ethan smiled. "Not to them. With them." Before she could reply, Ava's shrill cry echoed from upstairs. Liam soon followed, their wails layering like sirens. Charlotte braced for another round of chaos. But Ethan simply nodded. "Permission to engage?" he asked softly, like he was still in uniform. She gestured helplessly. "If you can. Good luck." The dance of calm. Ethan climbed the stairs, boots thudding lightly. Charlotte followed, arms crossed, bracing for disappointment. The twins were red-faced, fists balled, screaming. Ethan didn't rush. He set the guitar case down, rolled up his sleeves, and sat cross-legged on the floor. He didn't reach for them immediately. He hummed a low, steady, like a heartbeat. Then he started tapping a rhythm on the floor. Ava's cries hiccuped. Liam blinked. Then Ethan rose slowly, scooping Ava into one arm and Liam into the other. Instead of bouncing or shushing frantically, he swayed. His hum grew into a tune, a lullaby from the Marines, one soldier sang to remind themselves of home. Step by step, he moved in a circle. It wasn't just rocking, it was dancing. Gentle, rhythmic, almost ceremonial. Within minutes, the impossible happened. The twins stopped crying. Ava's head drooped against his shoulder. Liam's fists unclenched. Charlotte stood frozen, tears pricking her eyes. Months of failed attempts, of exhaustion, of heartbreak, a broken bar solved by a man who simply danced like their pain was his to carry. The bond. That night changed everything. Ethan didn't just quiet the twins. He connected with them. By the second week, they would reach for him the moment he entered the room. He taught Charlotte small things: that babies don't always want silence, sometimes they want rhythm. That patience wasn't about stopping the cries, but about walking through them with love. At dinners, he cooked simple meals, teaching her how to hold conversations at the table with toddlers instead of rushing to finish. When the twins learned to giggle with him, Charlotte realized she was laughing more too. It wasn't just childcare. It was healing. The twists of truth. But not everyone understood. At a company gala, word got out that Charlotte's new nanny was a war veteran. Some board members mocked quietly, whispering about how unorthodox it was. One shareholder even said, "Is this really the image you want? A CEO relying on a soldier with no degree in child care?" Charlotte was about to reply, but Ethan stepped in calmly. "With respect, ma'am," he said, addressing the shareholder, "I've led men through fire. I've carried brothers home on my back. And now, I carry these two kids with everything I've got. If that's not qualified, I don't know what is." The room fell silent. And Charlotte, for the first time in years, felt protected, not as a CEO, but as a woman, as a mother. The emotional climax. One rainy evening, the twins got sick. High fevers. Restless cries. Charlotte panicked, memories of hospital corridors flooding her mind. She reached for her phone, about to call an ambulance. But Ethan was already there, cool-headed, holding cool cloths, humming softly, whispering, "We've got this." Together. All night he stayed awake, rocking them, singing, telling them stories about stars and courage. By morning, the twins' fevers broke. Exhausted, Charlotte sat beside him on the couch. The babies slept across their laps. She looked at Ethan, his eyes red from no sleep, his arms cradling her children like they were his own. In a whisper, heavy with everything unsaid, she breathed, "Marry me." Ethan froze. "Charlotte, a broken bar." She shook her head, tears falling. "Not because I need help. Not because I'm lonely. Because you remind me what love is supposed to feel like. Safe. Steady. Real." For the first time since her husband left, her voice didn't break when she spoke of love. The ending, a dance of forever. They didn't marry right away. They built slowly, carefully. Ethan's daughter bonded with the twins, forming a little trio that filled the penthouse with laughter. Charlotte found herself leaving the office earlier, not because her company needed less of her, but because her heart needed more of them. Months later, at a quiet wedding by the ocean, the twins danced between their legs as Ethan strummed the guitar. Charlotte whispered her vows, not as a CEO, but as a woman who had finally found home. And when people asked later how it all began, Charlotte would laugh and say, "No nanny could dance with my crying twins. But a veteran did. And when I saw him, I didn't just see a man. I saw the rest of my life." Message: love doesn't always arrive polished, planned, or wearing the right uniform. Sometimes, it walks in carrying scars, a guitar, and a heart big enough to carry others. Sometimes, the right person isn't the one who looks perfect on paper, but the one who knows how to dance with your chaos until it becomes music. And that, more than anything, is what makes a family.